I pulled off my coat and carried it to the front closet. But there were no hangers in the closet yet, so I tossed the wet coat on top of a stack of cartons. Then I walked back into the kitchen, rubbing the sleeves of my sweater. Aunt Greta, do you know anything about a snowman? I asked. I heard her gasp. But when she turned to me, her face was a blank. Snowman? Do you know anything about a snowman on top of the mountain? I asked. Aunt Greta bit her bottom lip. No, I don't, Jacqueline. Her voice trembled. Why did she look so tense?
You can't scare me. Not with the basement of botany. Maybe a sentient dummy. Calling all creep. Boo Dudes! Welcome to 2021, to the first episode of the year of Calling All Crepes. I'm your host, Who Gives a Shit, and I'm here with Who's a What's It and Baby. You know what time it is, Dave?
It's
time
up
to nut. Time to nut. It's time to nut.
Oh,
That's not a song.
It is now. No
What's,
Nut 2020 is over.
It's over, baby. The tyranny is over. It's time for you to release. I am gonna nut. Right?
That's a good one. Yeah. Jizz.
I wanted to, record a song, us singing a song, or the melody of a song with the word "come," and professionally do it and insert it in the beginning of this episode, and have us harmonize and stuff. But that's way too much work. So let's.
You can't scare Jizz.
It would just be just
come and semen is my biz.
I did think should we do another version for 2021? Well, this is the trap we run into if we abuse it. Guess what? We end up with another ban on nutting.
Yeah.
And that's not what we do.
I was thinking about that. I mean, no one really said we couldn't.
No, we did.
Because we were a podcast that used too many sex terms, so we decided to stop that. But
it was too much.
Yeah, but the thing is, did you learn anything?
No, I didn't.
I didn't either. So we are just now a podcast that says jizz too much.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
We just got it out of our system.
Yeah, much like a good old bust. You ever see that that tweet from Ice-T that's it's from literally a decade ago, and it says a good nut, and he describes what a good nut is. I'm gonna look it up. Can you vamp for a minute?
Is that kind of like a good apple?
There's no
what, kid?
bruises on your balls.
Yeah, you're a good nut.
Do you follow Ice-T on Twitter?
I don't think so.
At Final Level.
Ah.
That's what I have to promote this episode. He's a good follow. Seems like a good guy. Dave, tell me about your New Year's.
New year, new me, same thing as always. This time I decided I'm going to be a different guy. Maybe I'll be an orthopedist. I don't know. What about you?
Same. I'm going to be an orthopenis. And okay, wait, I found it.
Okay, how's that?
Okay, are you ready for this? It's from January 19th, 2011, almost 10 years ago.
Holy shit.
It says, a real nut feels like every bone in your body comes out the head of your dick. Say no more. I'm done. Fall asleep in 2 minutes. And now here's the interesting thing that I did not know, and I'm going to read this in real time right now on the air. The next day, he tweeted a follow-up.
Ooh.
And he said, after my after my fart and nut comments yesterday, some people, I don't know where the fart comment is. Some people asked me if my account had been hacked. I guess they really don't know me, do they? And really is in all caps.
I like the people who do know him. That he was like, people don't know me, and people are just like, oh yeah, Ice-T. He's always nutting and falling asleep. I know him. I know him so well.
I'm looking for where he talks about farts. I don't see that. Anyway,
a good fart is when all the food turns into a gaseous substance, and it feels like it's all coming out your butthole. How's that, Ice-T? I feel like all you need to do is just talk more aggressive. Like when instead of like butthole, it's just like butthole.
Absolutely, that guy knows what's going on.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's a new year. Do you have any New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, I do. Well, one I accomplished already, and that was to occupy Congress. Done that. Done that. The other thing I was going to do is just like eat better. So as we were discussing a little bit before the app, and I'm eating straight salads out of a trough now, just trying to fill my belly with fiber, and that's about it. I don't usually like set hardcore resolutions necessarily because I don't want to put pressure on myself to fail, but it's also good to keep yourself accountable. So
it's true.
How about you?
Mine's kind of on the other side of that spectrum. We're going to say it's 2 words.
Yes.
Well, maybe, I don't know.
Jack off?
No, one's technically 3. Is it? It's between 2 and 3 words. It's 2.5 words.
I'll take it. One might be hyphenated.
Cleaner, butthole.
Oh, yes. I
did it. I've talked about it for so long, but I got an Amazon gift card from the school I work at.
Hell yeah.
The children and their families will be aiding in a cleaner butthole in 2021.
Look, one thing we've talked about on this podcast is your butthole health. And I think that's important. Will you tell me about this, Dave? Because I've been jonesing. I've been real curious about, can I just say a bidet?
Yeah, it is a bidet. And
bidet to you, Dave.
Oh, bidet to you. And I bought one that had like the hot water and the cold water so that you can like mix them like a faucet and get like a nice warm stream just firing right at your hole.
Sure.
And then I took apart my toilet. I know how to take apart a toilet. I'm not bragging or anything. My grandfather was a plumber. He showed me around the old yard. Just
look,
what
you're
I call
regular Mario. Yeah. You do call lavatories yards.
I do, and I also shit in my yard, so that's what
yeah, that's right.
I rent though, and my landlord lives above me, so
he's always hitting you with a newspaper.
It's a point of contention. But this toilet is old, and once I loosened the fittings, it just disintegrated.
Oh no!
Yeah,
just like rusted through.
Yeah, it was all rusted through. Like all of the washers and the gasket and everything, anything that was rubber or plastic was just melted away. Shit. I learned that one piece was held together because it was just cracked, and they just like clipped it in with a paper clip, and I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So it would not work without leaking a lot of water. So for a little bit, my toilet had a little trash can under it to collect all the water when you know. But I got to go to the Home Depot and was like, it's like a real cool moment when you get to go to the Home Depot and they're like, do you know what you need? And you're like, yeah, I'm looking at that. I think I know what I need. And they're like, let me see. Is it this? And you're like, no, it's that. And then they're like, are you sure? And you're like, yeah. And then you go home and it worked. Because like, I felt like, okay, number one, I'm the person where like, I can go into a store, any store. And when someone's like, hey, can I talk to you? That is an anxious, fucked up moment where, like, sometimes I need help, but I'm kind of like, uh-oh. Because if I say no, that means I need to find it immediately, or else they're going to be like, you fucking asshole.
Right.
So, like,
if you're still in their view, it's like, you better have your shit together.
But this was like, the reason it felt good is it's like, not only did I go to Home Depot and know what I needed, which is like, no matter what you're going for, whether it's a light bulb or anything, it feels good. But like, not only that, but I was like, no thank you, and then they're like, no, I'm gonna help you, and I was like, shit, this is an anxious moment. But I was like, no, this is fine. Thank you. So it was like no confrontation, but also I got like a little self-esteem going. And
That's
then
great.
I put together the bidet, and I know we have some strong water pressure in this house, but holy fuck. I learned that you could pull it up a little bit and it won't go too far. But if you pull it up all the way, like I was afraid it was going to go up my butthole and out my dick. Like that's how strong it is.
Out your mouth, you're like a little fountain in the garden.
Yeah. But all I have to say is that it worked. I tried a little full blast. It felt like somebody was trying to siege my castle. But yeah, I mean, just like a nice light stream, and I think this is the first New Year's resolution I'm actually going to be successful with.
You're gonna bidet for 2021.
Every bidet.
Every bidet. Now, do you? It was a positive experience, though. Do you think it cleans well? And
I think so. Yeah.
Largely a substitute for.
I'm still gonna wipe.
TP.
Yeah. There's no
just
way
to dry off your beehole.
Yeah, but also like I feel like you gotta, because like that's like your check. Like when you have a pool, you put chlorine in it, but you still gotta check that tab to make sure it's clean.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't rely on any one thing, I feel like.
Which brings us back to the question I'm sure we've asked many times. How do blind people know when they're done wiping?
Look, Matt Stein, if you're listening, get at us. Let us know.
New year, and we're already hitting R.L. Stein's son.
That's right, baby. You know what to expect.
Well, we're at book 51.
Book 51. How did we get here? Maybe we did 50 books before this.
I think we did.
Maybe that's how we got here.
More than that.
Yes, you're right. It is more. Yeah. Solid. I mean, this year it'll be 3 years. I don't think we'll quite get to 3 years, but
we will. A lot of people are asking when we were talking about the penultimate and all this stuff. Everyone's like, please, what are you doing after this podcast? The answer is we don't fucking know.
Having a normal night with my wife, maybe.
Yeah, we suck at reading these books. Like this one, I was like, we both have the week off. Let's do this one, and we'll be a week early.
Yeah.
So that way we don't have to stress it. How many pages did you read that week?
Roughly 0.
Yeah, I didn't even find my book. Like I found my book the next week to start reading it. So
yeah, I read like 30 pages like a week ago, but that was it.
Yeah.
And then I finished this morning.
I finished last night, and I liked it.
Did you like it?
I liked it.
I respect that.
I respect you.
I don't know what to make of this book.
It's weird as fuck. But let's. Oh, and I didn't say anything before. We won't end this. Who knows what it'll be? But we spend time with each other every other week.
Dave, I love spending time with you.
I love spending time with you. So,
do I want to do homework before I hang out with you? No. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll figure it out. Maybe we'll put it to a vote for the people.
Yeah.
All right.
How damaging would it be to us and our egos, which don't exist, if we got a solid 100% no's on that? Like, should we continue this? Just all no's, please?
Well, I think it's going to be most people want us to continue the messages we're getting, but they just want to know what we're going to continue with.
Yeah.
And I guess we need to figure that out because there's a lot that we can do.
There's so much.
What
a fucking empire this old man has built.
But all empires must come crumbling down.
Oh my God, I learned that from 300. Hey, you know what I noticed in the back of this book? There's R.L. Stein's little biography that was written by somebody else. And it says, we'll get into time and place in a moment, but it says Bob lives in New York City with his wife, Jane, teenage son, Matt, blind, and dog, Nadine.
Yes, Nadine. I noticed that too.
Yeah. I don't know a Nadine. Do you?
Well, do you know what I learned?
What?
R.L. Stein has 2 dead dogs.
That's right. He should write a book about it.
Minnie, recently, R.I.P. Minnie. And Nadine, I'm guessing, also didn't make it. I imagine Minnie was the replacement for the hole left in his heart that Nadine left.
That Nadine left, yes.
There was a Nadine
what a time to die.
Hole.
If this was January, was this January 98, Dave? No.
97.
97.
97.
January 97? Yes. Wow. Okay. So this was around roughly the time of Air Bud, right? So to have
I'm gonna have to fact check you.
Your dog dies around the time when Air Bud's getting all this press. I don't know. Seems pretty devastating. Even if you are an old millionaire like Mr. Stein, Mr. Period Stein.
August. Oh, there goes my phone.
August 97?
1997 was when
Air
we
Bud?
learned the rules that dogs could play basketball. So this book is called Beware. Why did I say it like that? Beware.
I loved it.
The
Can
Snowman.
I just be
Beware.
honest? I loved it.
Beware the Snowman by R.L. Stein.
Beware. Yes,
Book number
yes.
51. As discussed, January of 1997. The song Still Unbreak My Heart by Toni Braxton.
Love it.
And the movies, let me tell you, this one's crazy, but this was a year for movies. When I think 90s movies, this is just a cornucopia of VHS tapes to line your shelf. Get ready. The number one movie in this month was Beverly Hills Ninja. Starring Chris Farley. Yes.
Yeah.
Very 90s thing. On January 15th, Kim Jong-un's friend, the controversial Chicago's Bull forward Dennis Rodman, kicked a cameraman, Eugene Amos, in the balls during a game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Ultimately, he had to pay a $200,000 settlement, and he was suspended for 11 games without pay.
Oh, my God.
Then on January 17th, famous piece of internet shit, Jake Paul was born.
Oh, Christ.
I had to Google if he was the boxing one.
Yes.
Or if he was the one that went to the suicide forest and filmed somebody's dead body and put it on YouTube.
Yeah, I had to Google this recently as well. Because one of them is fighting Floyd Mayweather soon.
Oh, man.
I'm going to check this as well. And Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather. Let's see, is this real? Yes. Floyd Money Mayweather will fight Logan Paul in an exhibition on February 20th. I don't usually do pay-per-views and watch fights, but I will watch Logan Paul get his head punched through like a superhero.
Yeah, we want his head to get punched right through.
Yeah.
I imagine the easiest way is starting at the mouth because you got a hole that goes pretty deep in the head. It's like
That's
a good
true.
start. It's a good start, kind of when you want to do a screw into a wall, you put a little divot. But I think he should punch right through the middle, the dense part in the forehead, and then punch a hole through his forehead.
I think that would be most efficient. Just aim for the forehead. Make sure your pants are off, your butt is out, your bidet is strong, and just aim for the center of the forehead.
January 31st, Final Fantasy VII is released by Square and Sony Computer Entertainment to the PlayStation. That's a shout out to our good buddies at the Every Effin' FF podcast, our buddies, and of course, Carl Germ, founder of Where's the Witch?
Founder of Where's the Witch, which we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that I am wearing the shirt of, which you made and then Carl invented, and I am in debt to both of you.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to call that dead in soon. And all we have to do and say about this book is that the blurb on the back of the book has a typo.
Oh my God, I didn't read it. What's the typo?
Fucked up immediately. Read the first sentence.
Jacqueline used to live with her Aunt Greta in Chicago.
Nope. Read it again.
Jacqueline used to lived. That's terrible.
You fucking idiots. you scholastic dum-dums.
I can't believe that. That's incredible. You pick this up in the store. I mean, I didn't notice just now reading it, but theoretically, you pick this up in the store. You're like, okay, let's see what's going on here. Okay, fourth word incorrect. Got it. Put it back on the shelf.
What's this book about? Oh, fuck this.
Yeah. I mean, really, come on.
The new reprints, of course, the Korean cover, as we know, fucking rips. Really metal, awesome art. The French cover has a bunch of snowmen on it, and they all have ears for some strange reason.
Like human ears?
Like human ears.
Wow.
You never listened to the band The Human Ears?
Ho, hey, hey, ho. It's like Link, right? When he's like jumping, he's like,
Yeah.
ho, ho. You've made garbage.
No TV episode existed in the original, but when I Googled it, an IMDb listing came up for the new 2021 Goosebumps series. It has it listed as one of the episodes.
Wow.
But as someone who checks IMDb every now and then, I know that this is probably horse shit.
Yeah. I mean, and we all know that IMDb actually, you think it stands for Internet Movie Database, but it's actually, I might debust.
What?
I might do debust.
IMDb.
Yeah. But you know how like in some acronyms they don't include a word because it's convenient. So anyway, just so you know.
I might devour balls.
Yeah.
.com.
Yeah.
Yeah. Immense man dick, bud.
Internet Movie Database.
Internet movie data butt cheeks. Wait, why? Database is one word. Why did they do DB?
I don't know.
Fucking idiots, you fools.
But I anyway, in conclusion, I think the only funny words that start with B are butts and balls and boobs. Also boobs, lest we forget.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah, that's right.
And as we know, this is not the first book R.L. Stine has written about snowmen. Because there was the abominable snowman of Pasadena.
Right. But he was more like an ape.
Yeah. But
Yes.
let me take you back to February of 1991.
Please do. I'd love to be anywhere but here.
There is a horror for young readers, maybe not young, maybe like teens age, young adult, called Point Horror.
Okay.
There are books, usually horror-themed mysteries, murder, all that bullshit. And R.L. Stine wrote 8 of them. One of them being The Snowman.
Ooh, nice.
So I was really intrigued that R.L. Stine wrote a book called The Snowman, and the cover was just a snowman with its head lopped off. Pretty metal, looks cool. Here's the plot. Poor little rich girl, coveting her money. Heather's uncle guardian... Fuck this. Poor little rich girl, coveting her money. Heather's uncle/guardian hates her and makes her life miserable. Heather sometimes cannot help wishing her uncle dead. But when Heather's uncle really does die, her new boyfriend tells Heather that he killed her uncle for her.
Oh my God.
And his most famous books from this was The Babysitter.
Yes.
Which I know you've seen referenced a lot. He wrote 8 of these books, and let me tell you, he has come a long way with his titles. Because, as we know, he starts with the title, and then he writes the book. And Goosebumps, whether the book sucks or not, all the titles fucking rip.
They're
do. Great.
The titles and the covers rip, which is, I would posit, I would submit to you, Dave, and the listener, that's part of the success of the franchise.
And these really became Fear Street. Some were part of it, some were standalone, but these are all the I almost said Point Break, the Point Horror books that he wrote or had to do with in any way.
Yeah.
Ready? I want you to just give me a 1 through 10 of how scared you are when I say them.
Okay.
Blind Date.
Ah!
Are you just gonna scream every time?
No. I'll give you a.
No, you can scream or just make noises. It's
No,
up to you.
I'm gonna scream if I think it's very scary, and I'm gonna give you a rating. I'm very thorough, which is part of the reason this podcast is so successful. Not to brag.
I agree.
We get at least 50 listens and downloads. And I would say this blind date gives me a lot of anxiety. I'd put that at a nice, comfy 6.
Twisted.
Ooh, like the jonker himself. I want to just a quick aside here. I've told my wife this, and now I just say this now all the time when somebody is like supposed to be like, when we're watching something and it's somebody's supposed to be evil, but it's corny as hell.
By the way, I was so confused. Now you mean the Joker, but I was like, the Junker? I was like, I don't know that reference. And I'm like, oh, he means the Joker.
Yes, the Joker. I was texting with Goth Jock Dad, friend of the pod, Brian. And we were, of course, just sort of making fun of the Joker and how stupid of a character it is and how he's like now a libertarian icon. And Brian texted me and said, "Are you so serious? Why?" It was so fucking funny. So like anytime we watch something and somebody's supposed to be like fucked up and evil, we'll just be like, "Are you so serious? Why?"
I just love when people say like somebody who thinks crime's funny.
Yeah. Oh, you think crime is fun?
Yeah. All right.
So
we got to start pulling through these.
Wait, hit me with that title again.
Twisted.
Ooh, wow. Well, I think that's a solid 0.
Okay. The Babysitter.
Ooh, I'm more aroused than anything. I would say 4.
Beach Party.
Oh, fun, 0.
The Boyfriend.
I would put The Boyfriend at a 10.
All right, well, get ready for this one. The Boyfriend. No, The Babysitter. 2.
1.
The Girlfriend.
2.
The Snowman.
That's an 8.
Beach House.
Oh, I'd give that a pitchfork 9.0.
Hit and Run.
Oh my God, that's devastating. 10.
The Hitchhiker.
Oh my God, who knows what that guy's doing? Definitely a guy, by the way. 10.
All right. This one's too scary. I wasn't going to say it, but
Do we have to bleep it?
Halloween Night.
Holy shit. Is this one written by Danzig?
No, written by R.L. Danzig.
Wow.
Stein.
Wow. I mean, Halloween Night's pretty scary, Dave. You got a lot of like ghosts and goblins and Frankensteins, Draculas. I would say 7.5.
What did you give The Girlfriend?
A 6.9.
6.9. Okay. Well, get ready, because this book, the next one's called The Dead Girlfriend.
Oh my fucking God. 9.6.
All right, I'm just going to blow through. We're going to rapid fire for the rest. Okay, ready? Call waiting.
5.
I saw you that night.
1.
Wait. I saw you that night.
I love that because it's 0 context. It's just, I saw you at the mall. You looked great.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. You should have said hi. The end. Halloween Night 2.
8.
The Witness.
5.
The Babysitter 3.
9.
And his final one, The Babysitter 4.
Oh my God. 3.8.
So I was like, we should probably read some of these. And then I was like, how many pages is The Snowman? 181. Pass.
Yeah, that's a hard pass. Hey,
unless it's a 2-episoder.
Yeah, sure. I could do a 2-episoder Kurt Loder. If you're maintaining the Colonel Creeps wiki out there, if you could please average all my numbers together and give me the median, the mode, and the range, I would appreciate that.
This book starts with a bad poem.
Oh my God.
As most relationships did in
right.
1997.
I think this poem was written by William Carlos Williams, wasn't it?
Are you serious?
No. I think it was E.E. Cummings. Nice.
More like D.D. Jizzings.
You know, I really like E.E. Cummings, and he was one of my favorite poets for a while, and then I read more about him, and I learned he was like a dumb Republican, and now I just don't. I just can't. I think he was at the Capitol on Wednesday. But yeah, the poem, Dave, it's the first thing in the book. It says, when the snow I fucked it up already. When the snows blow wind and the day grows old, beware the snowman, my child. Beware the snowman. He brings the jizz, and he brings the cold, and that's pretty cool. Pretty cool, like to have that format. We haven't seen that before in an R.L. Stine book.
Yeah. And then it's like, did that rhyme return? Why did that rhyme return to me?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were asking, did that rhyme? The answer is no.
No, it kind of, because like, no, it's when the snows blow wild and the days grow old. Beware the snowman, my child. So it's like wild and child.
But the cadence is way off.
Beware the snowman. He brings the... Yeah, it's really fucking weird.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
But anyway, this book's not a poem. It's 113 arduous pages. And you do get Jacqueline. And Jacqueline's our protagonist. And she's there with Aunt Greta. And they move to the Arctic Circle because Aunt Greta is selling refrigerators. And she's got to go where it's coldest.
There's no reason for them to move. They lived in Chicago.
Yeah.
Which is already cold. And then they were like, we need this to be more bleak. So let's move to like the outskirts of the like Arctic Circle.
The North Pole,
The fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what I will say for this book, which I in general did not like, is I like the setting. I think the setting was good and successful. And they lived in like this weird like 30 Days of Night village.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it is cool, and there's like enough sensory detail in there to really paint a good picture. And like Jacqueline's boots are constantly crunching on the snow and whatnot. So I enjoyed the setting a lot.
There was lore
to
the town.
Yeah,
it was very cool. I mean, just the setting. It was a world, and you lived in it for 113 pages.
Yeah, well, you lived in it for about 85 pages, and then the dumbest thing on earth happens.
Yeah. The end of the book, we'll get to it. But so Jacqueline doesn't really have much to be excited about because you're like, wow, this girl's life must suck. She lives with her aunt and has to go to the Arctic Circle, even though she was like the star on the basketball slam dunkers.
Yeah.
At her high school or whatever, or middle school. Well, guess what? Her mom's dead.
That's right. Is this the book where I know we've had dead parents before, but
sure have.
Fuck. I must have made a note about this. You vamp.
But with how R.L. Stine's parents treat their kids, sometimes you're better off with a dead parent.
Yeah. But I feel like, is this one where she acknowledges outright? Yes.
Yeah.
This is the first formally bereaved child. Sorry, I'm giving away my good, but I wrote this in my good. Like I think it was Shocker on Shock Street, right, where the mother's out of the picture. But it's sort of intimated there, and here she says, like, my mom died. And
well, I think in was it The Mummy that the mom was dead?
Was she dead? I thought both the parents were refrigerator salesmen.
What was the one where mom was dead and they were with their... Oh, I have no idea.
Shocker.
There was one. Was it Shocker?
Shocker was a dead mom.
With a dead mom. There was a dead mom in Shocker.
Dead mom, Shocker.
Do I have to go into my notes and just search dead mom?
And also type Shocker. You'll get a lot of Dane Cook results. Well, so I think what you might be thinking of with Mummy is the parents go away and they meet up with Uncle Ben, but the parents are still alive.
I think it was the Snowman of Pasadena, the abominable Snowman of Pasadena. They had a dead mom.
Oh.
And that way they have to travel with their dad because mom died.
Okay. Why is RL only killing the mothers?
Because he's the dad, and every time he's mad at his wife, he's just like, well, this mom is dead.
Fucking Jane.
She won't let me play with Nadine outside. I want to run through the sprinkler.
Yeah.
Yeah, so her mom's dead, and her dad was just like, what is this, a baby? I'm out of here.
That's right. Yeah. So she's being raised by her aunt, and they go to the Arctic Circle, and they're just fucking kicking it in the Arctic Circle, and then she meets Rolanda, and what's the boy's name?
Eli.
Eli, of course, the Book of Eli. How could I forget? And they're cool, but they think the town's haunted, and they build a bunch of snowmans with Harry Potter fucking lightning bolts on their foreheads and whatnot. And Jacqueline thinks that's weird. And then eventually she goes to a house by there's a mountain. There's a mountain in this town.
I'm just trying to see how many pages you want to skip in one.
Yeah.
I'm just going to let you go for it.
All right, cool. All right. I could sum this up real nice for you. There's a mountain in the town. On the top of a hill is like an ice cave where supposedly a snowman lives, right? It's foreboding from the beginning, even before the snowman thing, because she goes closer. She's goes on a walk. And as she gets closer to the mountain, there's like a little house, and she goes in it for some reason, which is breaking and entering. And
yeah, that's fucked up. She's like, there's a house, and it's warm, and if I pushed on the door, it opened.
Yeah.
And I was like, this man is in a cabin by himself at the top of a mountain in the Arctic, and he doesn't lock his door, so you fucking teenager are just like, my house now.
Yeah. And
fuck you.
He's like a silver fox. He's like a George Clooney. Like a real sexy, salt and peppery guy. Go back to the episode where I had the George Clooney joke, which killed, that I forget about now. Yeah, I forget what it was exactly. But same guy, and his name's Conrad, and he's like, "What are you doing in my house?" And he also has a wolf, and the wolf gets mad.
The wolf gets mad. Wouldn't it be great if he was instead like a surfer guy, and he was just like, I'm Conrad because I'm Conrad.
He's correct, and he. I just think he's hot. I think he's a hot guy, and anyway, the wolf chases her out of the house and up the mountain a little bit. And anyway, she reconvenes later with her friends. Rolanda and Eli, and they're like, don't go near Conrad. He's like a snowman juggler. He's like
and don't go near our parents. They suck at naming children.
Yeah. Strange for the Arctic Circle, I suppose. But yeah, they're like, Conrad's a weirdo. He's like in cahoots with the snowman who lives on the mountain. And Jacqueline's like, what the fuck does that mean? And also, why are you building all these snowmen around your homes? And they're like, we'll tell you later. And she goes home to Aunt Greta, and Aunt Greta acts sort of sheepish about certain things, like when Jacqueline asks too many questions, or when she asks about the poem that she suddenly remembers. She's been thinking a lot about this poem, Moving to the Arctic Circle, because it has to do with snow and whatever. And her mom used to read it to her. And
she's like, Aunt Greta, there once was a man from Nantucket.
Yes.
But I can't remember the second verse.
Yeah. And she's like, well,
his something was so long that he could something. That I can't remember the second verse.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows what that could be?
She's like, I think there's a poetry book that has it, that because my mom used to read this to me, I think, before she became a dead mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, no, there's no such thing as dead. Snowmen aren't real. Help me unpack.
Yeah. Right. Correct. And she acts real weird. And eventually Jacqueline reconvenes with fucking Rolanda in a church. For some reason, Rolanda's like, hey, tomorrow night, meet me in a small, dilapidated church. Totally normal. Second time I'm speaking to you. But meet me alone at this church.
Yeah.
It's a safe space.
Hey, have you heard the good word?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it actually turns out to be a Scientology center.
Yeah. Have you been Jaying off? J stands for Jesus. Have you been Jesusing off?
Yeah, they meet in this church, and Jacqueline's like, let me break it down for you. There's an evil snowman that lives on the top of the mountain in a cave. It's an ice cave. And the reason he lives there is there used to be a sorcerer and a sorceress here, and they were fucking...
They used to fuck.
They were fucking one night, and they just got bored as hell, and they were like, let's make a little monster. And it's like something that we could fuck. and they made this little monster. And it was a snowman, and they, the snowman just wouldn't die. So they, like, relegated it to the cave, and it lives there now. And Jacqueline's like, okay, cool. Yeah, totally normal.
But, like, the townspeople couldn't, they, like, basically fought its way up to the cave to keep it up there.
Right, yes. Well,
and now the whole town... I love the sound effects we got. You just, like, uncorked a bottle of wine, and, like, boom. Like, I'm gonna need more for this shit. So they put it up into the ice cave. Then everybody, she's like, so why does everybody make these creepy ass snowmen? Because the snowmen are normal snowmen. They have red scarves, big black eyes, a frowning face, arms up in the air, and a scar across its head. And they all look pissed off. Yeah. And they're in everybody's yard. And they say the reason they all do this is that if the snowman ever comes back or comes to town, they're doing it to honor him and hope that they will spare him.
Yeah, it's like a tribute. And if you don't do it in the front of your house, you're liable to get, fucked with a carrot in your home, and nobody wants that. So
carrot's not in my home.
Not in my home. It's tapered, but it's pointy. So, so they have this conversation, and actually, Jacqueline's reaction, to her credit, is like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And doesn't believe her, which is fair. And then she goes home. She has like a spooky experience, which is never truly explained, which is like she's lying in her little cot in the top of the home, and she hears a voice that says, "Beware the snowman."
They explain that.
What? What's the explanation?
I'll tell you at the end of the book.
All right. Well, Jacqueline's trying to find the rest of the poem. She's like curious about the book and the poem, so she's like searching through boxes and stuff. And again, Aunt Greta comes in and fucking whatever the literature equivalent of a cock block is, that's what happens. Because Aunt Greta's like already took the book, I think.
Yeah.
So she can't find it. And Aunt Greta's just acting weird. Like the behavior is strange. So you're like, all right, something's going on here.
But also, you missed, there's a point too where she hears like howls and screams in the night.
Right.
And she goes outside to kind of figure out what it is. And something chases her back at the house. And she locks herself out and dives in the window. Right.
So is that the explanation? Is it the snowman chased her?
Well, something chased her that night.
Okay.
That's unexplained, but the whispering is explained later. But
okay.
Yeah, so Greta's like, go to sleep, silly girl. You got to help me unpack tomorrow. And she's like, promise me that you won't go to the top of the mountain.
Right.
And she's like, I promise. And then with a good will of Borat, she goes, not.
That's right.
She's going up there.
She puts on her LL Bean boots and her Patagonia vest, and she takes a sickle, and she fucking hikes over to that mountain immediately.
Oh wait, we forgot another thing. As she's leaving the church with all of her pamphlets and her King James,
that's right.
She LeBron R.I.P. She
R.I.P. I think he's doing well.
LeBron?
Yeah, he's alive.
Oh no, Kobe. Died. Oh my God.
That's right.
I picked the wrong basketball superstar.
You killed the wrong guy.
Oh man, imagine if he dies now. That would be fucked up.
That would be fucked up.
I hope. Okay, LeBron, don't die.
LeBron seems like a good dude, unless there's something problematic I don't know about. In which case,
he better not be problematic because I've been waiting for Space Jam 2 for too long.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's sad at this point in 10 months of quarantine, and I'm just so fucking broken as a person that I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and where's Ghostbusters? I want that Ghostbusters with Stranger Thing, isn't it?
Which Stranger Thing?
Wolfhard.
Oh, I don't really care about him. I care about the man. What's his name?
I like him in the pup videos.
Sure. Yeah. But it's like, we get it. You're cool as hell. You're cooler than I'll ever be.
I get it. Yeah, but also fuck pup. I like their music.
Oh,
but they did a real mean thing to my hockey team. So fuck them. But they're from Toronto, so that's.
I thought you were. I really enjoy that last record. I thought you were going to say something like legitimately problematic, and I was like, "Fuck."
No, they got good music videos. Look up Pup.
I thought you were going to
watch
Pine Grove their asses.
Oh no, Pine Grove. What did they do? They're from my hometown.
Well, the fucking front man is just like he was involved in that like sexual assault thing.
Oh my god, a musician. So the thing we forgot is that as she's leaving the church, Eli comes up, and Eli won't be anywhere near the talk of Snowman because he is so scared. And he tells her that him and his friends went up to the ice cave because they didn't believe it. And not only did they see the snowman, it saw them.
Yes.
And since then, he's like, we literally just left in silence. We have not talked to each other about it. We have not talked to each other since. He has not slept. Like he is like fucked. This kid's PTSD'd from like seeing the horrors of a live monster in front of him.
Yeah, like it shook Eli. He's like the specificity of that is cool. That Eli's like, you know, he saw me. He looked into my soul, and I'm like, I can't sleep anymore.
It's scary. It's not even just like we saw him, and he's like, yeah, we saw him. He saw us.
Right.
Like he looked me in the face. He saw my face. Like our eyes. That's creepy. But and that really switches over Jacqueline's perspective because like once Rolanda tells her about it, she legit is just like, I burst out laughing in her face. Like,
yeah. That was a funny reaction.
Yeah, but so she meets up with Rolanda and Eli, and she's like, listen, you guys got to do me a favor. Go up and go play with Conrad and his dog so that they stay busy and I can sneak by to go see what's going on in this ice cave.
Right.
And they're like, we will do this under one circumstance. You have to build a snowman in your yard. You're not safe.
Yeah, which is weird. It's like a weird bargain to strike.
But is it?
Sort of, because like Jacqueline's like, okay, I'll make you a deal. I'll build this shit in my yard if you do the distraction. And they're like, deal. And it's like, who the fuck does this benefit? It only benefits Jacqueline. Both terms benefit Jacqueline.
Not in the end. We'll find out.
They do
later.
though, right? I mean,
no, they don't. They don't. Again, more will be revealed later.
All right.
So they sit there and they build it, and that may be one of the coolest parts of the book, where she's sitting there reflecting on building the snowman and is actually having fun as a kid, but is also realizing that she is like part of a community now. And also like, yes, I'm enjoying this, but at the same time, I feel weird. Should I be fearing this? Should I be afraid? Does this make me part of this? Does this like, it was really kind of cool.
Yeah.
It was like, what are the cultural reasons I'm doing this? What are the real reasons people do this? Am I a fake? Am I like, it was very well done.
Her character is very self-reflective, I will say.
It's pretty cool. That's what happens when your mom kicks the bucket.
That's true. They say depression breeds art. Did I ever tell you about in college, I did a presentation in my literature class, some class. I did a presentation on like how troubled people produce art, it's so fucking stupid. It's so like trite and cliched and not true. But how I used examples of every troubled person, right? Like Van Gogh and Kurt Cobain and all these fucking Elliott Smith, like all these people who produce like immense, incalculably valuable art, like all killed themselves and did all this shit. And I was just trying to like draw a parallel, and I don't know what my thesis was there. It was probably dog shit because that's such a stupid thesis to have. But
I mean, we took a class that was basically that. Remember visionary poetry?
Right. Yeah. Any visionary is like truly fucked up. I mean, there's credibility to it, but there's enough there are enough variables, and also to not be perceived as like, there was like a Kanye West tweet where he was like, if I took an antidepressant, I couldn't have made my beautiful, dark, twisted fantasy. And one of my favorite comedians, Rob Delaney, retweeted it and just wrote like, "Yeah, you could," like, because like that's so fucking. And I love that, like the simplicity of it. Like, yeah, like make yourself better. You can still produce great art.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I did this thing, and my teacher talked to the head of creative writing about it, David Daniel. And David
doxing him.
And David Daniel called me into his office. He was a great dude, and I am calling him out. But but only to say he's a great dude, and
he's an incredible dude,
a great poet. And he called me into his office, or he didn't call me into his office. He actually called my cell phone, and he left a message because I didn't see that he called. And he was like, "I just want to let you know." Like, I'm a little concerned, and we all care about you. Like, I care about you more than you'll know. And like, just let me know that you're okay and all this stuff. And I was 100% totally fine, feeling good. I just had a dumb thesis about like suicide for some reason. And anyway, that reminded me of that for some reason, like a troubled teen.
A nice story. I wrote a thesis paper. Or not a thesis. It was just a research paper for like an American experience class that I was in. And I wrote a research paper about how many historians believe that Abraham Lincoln was the first gay president.
Sure.
A research paper based on research with a bibliography of articles and published things. And I got a C-. And my explanation was, well written, but Abraham Lincoln was not gay. And so I said, what? Like, this is all, I didn't just say, like, I think this guy's gay. Like, I wasn't like a fucking middle school boy being like, yeah, well, your mom's gay. Like,
yeah, sure.
No, this was based on facts about history that are there that have been interpreted by historians and scholastic people.
Sure. I think that's interesting.
And, so I went to my buddy David Daniels and I was like, yo, a C- on my final paper because this lady is all fucking uptight that like I'm calling a president gay who may have been gay. And he was just like, don't tell anybody, I'll fix this. Boom, A at the end of the class.
Love it. Perfect. Yeah,
like,
I mean,
you can't do, like, I didn't say, like, it wasn't even like a position paper. It was legit research. It was like, this is an interesting history thing.
Positing a theory, which is what a thesis is. And, it's making a statement, but it's not yet proven, right? It's a thesis.
Yeah, but it's backed up.
Yeah, it's backed up by articles and
yeah.
Yeah, you use evidence.
It wasn't just like... Yeah, it wasn't like, Lincoln is gay at geocities.angelfire.
See that, and it's funny that you could be a teacher in general, but you can teach in higher education and be like, C- because, Dave, I don't know if you know this, Lincoln was married to Mary Todd Lincoln. Therefore, incorrect, C-.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I fucking know that, but like, what about this other thing?
And she was so depressed, and they basically spent no time together. And every time he was depressed, he would go to this special cabin in the woods with his, as he described, flowery fine friend, where they would share a bed and write poetry together. And when he wasn't with them anymore, he talked about how his life had been ripped from him, and he was never happy again.
I love it. Yeah, she spent like a lot of her time in bed because like their kids died of the hiccups, and that's devastating. And
he was forced to marry her. It was basically an arranged marriage, and he literally just wanted to like, either he was gay and he just wanted to spend his true life with his like man who he loved, or he just wanted to like bro out and have like a good life. Regardless,
great.
He was in the spot he didn't want to be in, and whatever. Anyway, that was a lot of time spent on Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, the people love it. That's why they tune in.
But anyway, she sneaks by. They go to the front door and pretend to be selling Girl Scout cookies or some crap.
That's right.
And they get Conrad. Conrad and the wolf to walk
I
away.
love Conrad.
I burped while I was saying
Conrad is a better name.
Well, you think he's hot, so we'll call him Conrad.
Conrad is it's a douchey name, but it's a hot guy name as well.
So like Jacqueline sneaks along the ledge. It's basically the fucking level from Mario 64. She throws the penguin off the cliff,
which producer Chib is playing again. She got the remastered Switch
nice.
version. Did you do that? Did you get the?
I bought it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to also Carl Germ, who this morning did a speed run of Demon Tower from Night in the Woods on AGDQ. Awesome games done quick, which is such a huge honor. He's been speed running Dark Souls. Look up Carl Germ on Twitch. He made it to the big leagues today, which was super, super awesome.
Hell yeah.
I didn't get to see. I was working, but if you donated enough money, somebody was going to do a run of Mario 64 blindfolded.
Oh my god.
I have to see if that happened because I need to see that.
That's
that
pretty
game's-
impressive.
Yeah, fucking insane.
But congrats,
Which
Carl.
means
we love
there's
you.
yeah, and also to Arlstein's son. See, there's hope. You might be able to beat Mario 64.
Well, the person who's blindfolded has vision and got it under their fingers. That's why I'm so comfortable going blind now, because I'm so comfortable because I know like the chords now of a guitar, so I could still kind of like enjoy myself. You know, I don't need to see.
Yeah.
I don't need to see. Take my vision, you fucking cowards.
You could still hear a fart and laugh.
That's right. You could come over, bring a whoopee cushion, and you and I will still laugh for hours. And I know how you... Look, I'm going to study your face right now. Ready? Beautiful. Fucking beautiful. It's going to be ingrained in my memory forever.
So, she goes there and she sees the snowman. It's real. And he's just like, Jacqueline, I'm your father.
So bad and stupid. Yep. Correct.
And then I gotta bring this up. This is part of my bad writing. So I really, really like the beginning of the book. Like I said, it built an incredible setting. The idea of the snowman, the culture in this town, being part of it and seeing it as an outsider, the fear of Eli. Really cool. Just hearing things in the night. A small cabin surrounded by snow. It's very just kind of like bleak. I loved it.
Yeah.
This is when it gets shitty. So literally.
Yes.
She says, page 91. Do you know who I am? The snowman thundered. No, I squeaked. Who are you? I am your father, the snowman cried. No, a long wail escaped my throat. And then it says, Jacqueline, I am your father, which is supposed to be Luke. I am your father.
Sure.
The snowman repeated, lowering his booming voice. That's impossible, I stammered. You're a snowman. You can't be my father. Listen to me. I am your father. There are a bunch of points in this where literally he just took the dialogue from Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
And it's known that he legit did it.
Yeah.
It's not a joke. I'm not joking. He legit put lines in.
No, that's the dialogue. That's the exchange that Vader and Luke have.
That's not true. That's impossible. I've never seen Aunt Greta do magic. You're lying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason this sucks so bad, outside of the obvious, is that there's a bunch of different routes this could have taken that I think would be better.
Than a Star Wars joke?
Yeah. Than having the snowman be her father, I think.
One thing this probably has to do with, too, is that in a couple months, the re-release of the original Star Wars movies hit theaters.
Oh,
so this is when
this time period.
Yeah, like literally a couple months away. Remember when like Star Wars action figures started coming back out, like stuff like that. This was when the hype was starting for the Star Wars movies again.
Yeah,
and he did a Star Wars thing. I love Star Wars.
Of course, but I don't want to see them recontextualize in another thing I love.
Yeah, I have more Star Wars tattoos than I don't even know the number right now.
Tell me the number right now.
I'd have to count. Okay, you talk.
Show me your body. Dave is disrobing.
1.
He's counting on his arms right now. He's taken off his pants and underwear. He's for some reason.
There's 6.
Okay.
There's 6.
Okay.
But yeah, it's fucking dumb. And then he's just like, no, search yourself and know it to be true. Talk to Greta. Sure. And Greta is like she's just like walking up the mountain holding the poetry book, and she's like, huh?
Yeah.
And yeah, then they like fight and stuff, and she's like, you took it. I thought it was this or whatever. And Snowman basically says that he is her father. Her mother and Greta are sorceresses, and they cursed him to become a snowman.
Yeah.
And the reason that they're back 10 years later is to re-up the snowman spell.
Right.
And they need the book so that she can turn him into a snowman for another 10 years because they don't want... It's a custody battle.
Yeah.
For her. And Greta says, no, I have never done magic. I am not magical. I am a muggle. And I don't even want to say that because what's-her-face is such a piece of shit. But
That's true. She's a fucking turd.
Yeah, fucking turd. And she's like, listen, I raised you like your whole life. I've been here forever. Why would I lie to you? This is a monster. We need to keep the spell to make sure that it is like still contained. Listen to me, please.
Yeah.
And of course, Jacqueline does the only sane thing and sides with the snowman. Like a fucking idiot.
Yeah. And she does procure the page after much haranguing. There's like 20 pages of fucking Greta throwing the book around and like the page being ripped out, and then it flows back via the wind into Jacqueline's hand.
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking matter. And
then she like takes it from her, rips it up, but she already read it and
yeah,
remembered it.
it's like ridiculous. And so Jacqueline just recites the second verse.
Yeah, so then she does it, and the snow melts away. It looks like jizz, I bet.
I bet it does.
And all the jizz runs off, and it's like a goblin guy. It's like a big goblin monster dinosaur.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, it's like a big ghoul, and he's all gross and sloppy. And then, he's...
He's like, eh. I imagine that's the noise he makes.
Yeah, for sure. And and Greta's like, I told you he's a fucking goblin.
You didn't listen to me. I raised you, you little idiot.
Yeah, you piece of shit. And the goblin's like, now I'm gonna fucking kill you, and throws her off the mountain, but she grabs onto something, and a bunch of snowmen start traversing toward the goblin, and eventually they arrive, and they push the goblin into a block of ice, and he's going to be there forever. And
Conrad did.
It was Conrad. He flexed his fucking pecs, and all the snowmen climbed up to the top of the mountain, and it turns out Conrad is a dad rod. And he's Jacqueline's dad, and he's fucking hot as hell. He's a hunk and a half. And
he's like, thank God we didn't kiss.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm a child. And he's like, as I said, thank God
I can't control it. And his shirt is open and billowing in the wind.
Yeah. His dick is also billowing in the wind, soft, of course. Not like a flag, more like a pennant, because,
Yeah, that dude is fucking hung like a
it's
dank hog. Yeah, go.
like a fucking ribbon dancer. It's just blowing in the wind.
Yeah, and she's like, are you in color guard? Because you got a big flag in your pants.
And he's like, when it's hard, it becomes one of those guns.
And so anyway, they live happily ever after, and the snowmen are cold. That's it.
The snow, and yeah. So Jacqueline is just like, I've been trying to make you afraid of the snowman. And she's like, you were the one whispering at night? And she's like, I had to make sure you didn't come up here.
That was Conrad?
No, it was Greta.
Oh.
And then she said the reason they moved there is because she needed to re-up the snowman spell for another 10 years. But also, she realizes that there's still a chance that her father is up here defending the town. And that's why Conrad moved up there, because they always say like Conrad probably works for the snowman, because once the snowman went up there, he moved close by the ice cave, and he stops people from going there, but it was just to protect everybody. Right. So And then she's like, Daddy? And she's like, my daughter, I didn't recognize you. And I was like, yeah, she was a fucking baby. It was 10 years ago, you idiot. And he decided not to go with them because, like, he needed to save the town and he wanted to be responsible. Weird thing is that he's just like, where's your mom? And they're like, oh, she died. And he was just like, oh, shit. Like, he didn't say anything about it. He didn't care.
No, he didn't. That's fine.
Yeah. But, yeah, and then the end has a terrible joke. The snowmen surround them and they say, can we go back down? We're cold.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is funny because they're made of snow. So, that's funny.
I guess that's funny. I don't know. I guess my question is, why is a snowman a threat, right? Like, there are so many options with the snowman. How could it possibly harm you? That's my question.
Somebody needs to watch Jack Frost, the horror movie.
I do. Is that a Michael Keaton joint?
No, that one's...
I think it's Michael Keaton.
No, it's one... I remember seeing it because it was on late at night, and there was also boobs in it.
Oh, la
But, like,
la.
there would be, like... There's, like, giant fake todders in it. And
Todders?
Yeah, but then the todders get killed real quick, so it's, like, hard to really get rocking.
Are you sure you're not talking about Jack Off Frost?
No. Is that one?
Jack Frost.
All right, we're gonna go to good and bad.
Wait, no, I have to Google Jack Frost, but I wasn't connected to Wi-Fi. Wait, yeah, so you tell me you're good. I'm Googling Jack Frost. Go.
All right. So, on page 10, they say there's nothing really to do in the town, but being scared is all there is to do in Sherpia. The town's name is Sherpia.
That's right. It's like Sherpa.
I thought that was like... Yeah, I think that's the joke. It was just... I don't know. It was... Now I read it and I'm like, it's kind of dumb, but I thought it was very Tim Burton-y, building the atmosphere of like, this is a weird fucking place. Like, on page 15, a snowman's shadow is swept over her, and it's super creepy. I raised my eyes and cried out in surprise after another sneering snowman stared back at me with a twisted carrot nose and coal black eyes. Its red scarf fluttered in the strong wind. I stared at the long scar cut deep in its face. Its twig arms waved in the winds as it greeted me. I turned around and saw another one in the front yard across the street. Same tree branch arms, same scar. Where's the part? Oh, this part. Here we go. Heavy gray clouds rolled over the sun. The snowman's shadow appeared to stretch until it swept over me. I felt a sudden chill. I stepped back. The sky quickly turned evening dark. I gazed up to the top of the mountain. Clumps of pine trees hid in the top of view. Should I head home or keep going? There's a lot of good description.
Yeah.
By the way, something I also hated in that part is they say the sky quickly turned evening dark, which is fucking stupid. But
sure.
I like that they say Conrad's eyes glowed like steel marbles.
Yeah, because he's fucking
It
hot.
just makes him hot.
Yeah.
He's so fucking hot.
Oh, God.
I love the scene where Aunt Greta asks Aunt Greta about the poem, and it's so obvious that shit's wrong. And he does a lot of subtle things. They talk about the stillness of the night, which is nice. And then on page 45, did I write down the wrong page? Oh, here we go. Her straight white hair hung loose behind her. She tugged it off. The collar of her flannel nightshirt, brushing out. So that was pretty cool. On page 47, they say, yawning, I pulled off my jeans and sweatshirt and tossed them on the floor.
Dave,
Then I jumped into the bed and quilted my chin.
You want to know something creepy? I just, on my laptop, as I was Googling Stevie Ray Vaughan, I got a text message from you from January 1st. This is a three-way convo between us and our dad, Eric. Shout out, Eric. And he wrote, ha, ha, ha. And it was on New Year's Day, 11:07 a.m. Creepy. I'm talking to you and you messaged me. I was like, how do you do that?
Well, this is also a good creepy part on page 68.
Yeah, tell me.
Where it says, leaning against the front door, I pulled off
Sure.
Yeah, my wet boots and stood in the corner. Then I tugged off
Does it say that?
my parka and dropped it onto the couch.
A lot of verb offing.
A lot of pulling off and tugging off in this book,
Yeah.
so I like that.
Is that all you're good?
And then the part about building the snowman was very good.
What was good about it? Tell me.
Are you still Googling shit?
Well, I found Jack Frost, and it led me to Stevie Ray Vaughan. It's a whole
Why
thing.
you and Stevie Ray Vaughan?
Look, he's a tragic figure. He died in a plane crash.
All right.
Oh, my dad
Building
just
one of
texted
the-
me from the past. He said, Happy New Year.
Building one of the strange snowmen gave me a creepy feeling. I felt as if I had become part of the superstition. I was taking part in some kind of ancient village tradition, a tradition built on fear. The people of the village all built these snowmen because they are afraid. And now, here, I was building one too. Should I be afraid, I wondered? I felt glad when the snowman was finished. Rolanda pulled a red scarf from her coat pocket and we wrapped it under the scarred head. The snowman's dark eyes seemed to glare at me. The mouth was turned down in an angry sneer. The arms bobbed softly in the wind. Okay, good job, I told my two new friends. Now let's get going. I motioned towards the mountaintop. It's pretty cool.
That's fucking awesome.
All right, so what's your Stevie Ray Vaughan Jack Frost shit?
Well, so first of all, I just want to say that life is so fragile. I mean, so Stevie Ray Vaughan's helicopter crashed because of fog. Imagine being taken out by fog. Come on, get real.
Yeah, if you had a Sully Sullenberg fucking flying that
That's
plane.
true.
He took out geese and shit and he landed in the goddamn Hudson.
That's right. He sure did.
Couldn't take on fog. Come on.
His fucking engines ate some birds and he was fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jack Frost, 1998 film. For some reason it says, I was looking at the cast, and it says the last person billed is Stevie Ray Vaughan as himself. And I was like, what the fuck? Because this is a 1998 film. I was like, Stevie Ray Vaughan died in the 80s.
Wait, is this the horror one or is it the Keaton one?
It's the Keaton one. Wait, there's a horror one?
Yeah, that was the whole thing you're supposed to be Googling.
I was going to question you because I was like, Dave, this is rated PG, so there's no titties in this. What's the Jack Frost movie horror?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. This changes the whole dynamic. Dave, do you have any more good?
There was a bunch of... No, I'm done. Do you want me to go to bad?
Yes, go to bed.
I'm talking about the notorious serial killer Jack Frost, played by Scott McDonald.
Scott McDonald. Never heard of him. Not real. Okay, I see. I see. I found it. Go ahead. Tell me what was bad about this book.
Did the snowman have a scar? No, a scarf. That was the part.
That's pretty good.
In the beginning where she's like, does it have a scar? And then she got up close and she was like, oh no, it was a scarf the whole time. And I'm like, oh, you thought, why would a snowman have a scar? And how did you mistake a scarf for a scar? And then later it was just like, oh, it had both. Just really weird. And I don't know why you give a snowman a scar. Like, how would you differentiate a scar from, it's snow?
I know.
Like, it's not like a smooth thing.
I know. They must have done it with Twizzlers.
On page 14, she's telling about moving to the kids, and she said, I live with my aunt, see?
Oh.
And I'm like,
like a New Yorker in the 20s or something?
yeah, I live with my aunt, see?
Yeah.
Like, fucking
cool
stupid.
mid-Atlantic accent.
Page 15, the sky quickly turned evening dark. I fucking hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, the sky turned night color. Like, fuck you. The Star Wars shtick was stupid. Yeah. On page 102, it says, the face melted onto the body. Like, just say the face melted onto the body.
Yeah,
Come
sucks.
on. And then the last joke fucking sucked.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, I found it. What were we saying? Oh, that Michael Keaton was in it. No, that's it. That's a different one. So this was... my mom just texted me from 5 days ago. It says, we'll pick up the Christmas tree whenever you want. I store my Christmas tree at my mom's. So November 18th, 1997, very close to our book date. Not really. What else? It's a scary cover of the DVD, I would say. Who's Scott McClooney or whatever? Scott McDonald. Is he dead?
I couldn't tell you.
Well, as soon as my internet loads, we'll find out. All right, let me give you my...
So this movie is basically, it's like Child's Play except with a snowman.
But I don't understand how the snowman is successful.
He stabs people with ice.
That's dumb.
Here.
Dave is currently showing me the trailer.
We just crossed the Snowmanton County line.
Snowmanton.
Almost got away with it, didn't you? Everything okay back there, Harv?
Oh, you're doing fine. Real fine.
Yikes.
And that's the bad guy.
Scott McDonald is alive, by the way. I'm just going to tell you one quick fact about Scott McDonald, and then I'm going to move on. Are you ready? His last acting credit was 2011 in the United States of Terra. He played Larry Perzinski. Oh. That's pretty nice. And in 2008, he was on Monk. I love Monk. That's great. Anyway, in 2020, he was in The Call of the Wild, that fucking dog movie. Wow. That's great.
Ready? Listen. That's a snowman driving a cop car.
I said, who's out there?
Okay.
Well, it ain't fucking Frosty. World's most pissed off snow cone. No.
Wow. All right. So, I don't know what the fuck he's saying. So,
It's a long drive.
He said he's the world's most pissed off snowman.
okay.
And he said, it sure isn't fucking Frosty.
Well, so that's like a supernatural element where he he fires an icicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a second one where it's on a beach, and I remember because there's a girl with big boobs, and she gets frozen under the pool, and she drowns.
Ah. Yeah, I'm saying like a snowman who becomes sentient is not a threat.
This one is.
Well, this is like a supernatural puppet who fires icicles.
Yeah, but wouldn't a normal one be?
No. I mean, a normal snowman has sticks for arms.
Yeah, but if it's the same thing with zombies. Are zombies a threat?
Only in big groups.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, they are rotting bodies. Their legs should snap once they try to walk.
They should.
It's because it's supernatural, so it doesn't mean that a snowman can't be like, "Hey, fuck you," and shoot at fake boobs with icicles projectiles.
All right, fine. I'll suck a snowman's nose if that's what you want. So anyway, my good, I would say, I enjoyed that this was the first formally bereaved child who said mom's dead. I think that's good for representation.
You fucking monster.
Love dead moms. On page 25, snowflakes melted on its tongue. What did I mean by that? Let's find out together. It says, it's the wolf, of course. It says, beneath the thick white fur, its chest heaved up and down. Snowflakes melted on its tongue. It was just very evocative. I could picture that. Nice description. Also, nice description on page 36 of what Jacqueline sees from her little attic window, which says, bushes trembled in a soft breeze. Turns out I just farted. No, it says, the wind carried another frightening howl. I raised my eyes to the mountain, but I could only see houses, dark and silent, and the silvery road that curved its way to the top. That was nice. Page 58, Jacqueline laughing in Rolanda's face is
like that.
Is one of the few logical things to happen in the Goosebumps universe. because of course that news is hilarious. You try to tell me that there's a sentient snowman. It's very funny. Page 72, Dave, you mentioned lore as a thing that is prevalent in this book, and I think Aunt Greta puts it nicely on page 72, sort of summing up how we have some of the lore that we have IRL, I would think. It says, she sighed. That's how these old stories get started. Something bad happened on the mountaintop. Then the story changed each time it was told. Years later, no one remembers what really happened. And now everyone believes that there's a crazy story about a living snowman. So I thought that was just a good summation of how lore really does begin.
Yeah.
And my bad. Well, the rhyme has no cadence. It sucks shit.
Yeah, it sucks.
Also, why did her mother whisper it to her? That was a weird detail. I could almost hear it in my mom's soft voice, a voice I hadn't heard since I was 5. It was a rhyme my mother used to whisper to me when I was a little girl.
You know, little whisper songs.
I guess, sure. You got to whisper a creepy poem to me while I'm trying to sleep.
That's all I have to say about that.
Oh, yeah. Being scared is all there is to do in Sherpia. I thought that was very funny and stupid.
I liked it, but it is stupid. I think I liked it because it's stupid.
There's some telling and showing simultaneously. On page 11, I introduced myself. Now, you as the reader might think, it should end there. No. It says, I'm Jacqueline DeForest, I told them. So, I think you could choose one or the other in that situation. So no explanation about why she just fucking enters Conrad's home. She just goes in.
Well, she's a fucking monster.
Yeah.
Just like her dad.
So here's the thing I thought was going to happen is that the wolf was somehow like a person or like one of these sorcerers or something, because constantly it was like there's these human sounding howls that's alluded to throughout like the entire book, which sort of materializes to be nothing. So it doesn't materialize, I would say. Oh yeah, page 43, much like sarcophagi are mummy cases, boxes are packing cartons. Ooh la la.
Which is very, like, Canadian, I think.
Is it Canadian?
I don't know.
My packing
or it's,
cartons?
Like, just older, yeah.
My Molson and my packing cartons. On page 48, silence, ... It says, and I listened. Silence now. Who are you? My cry so tiny and shrill. Silence. Who are you? Silence, ... I don't like the ... I think the ellipses is unnecessary and weird. On page 55, 56, when Rolanda is relaying the story, I really glazed over when she started talking about sorcerers in general. I feel like this is a Goosebumps trope that I'm just tired of, where it's like, there were once magicians, and they wanted this thing to come to life, and it did, and it was bad. And, like, that's the end.
And now we're fucking dealing with it.
Yeah. And also, it's like in the story, it's like there's no good reason for the snowman to be evil. Because it was like they were just messing around and like they weren't evil, but the snowman was evil. So there's just no good reason for it. Of course, later we realized they created a monster somehow. Oh yeah, page 87. The reveal of the snowman is sort of a letdown because it's just like, and a tall white figure lumbered out from the blackness of the cave entrance. An enormous snowman! Exclamation point. And that's like the first time you see the snowman, and I just sort of wanted more from that.
Yeah, it's like Willikers. It's exactly as we expected.
Yeah, it's the title of the book. And then, of course, the snowman saying that it's her father was very funny. And that's it.
All right, Spook and Scare.
Spook and Scare. I just think the town had creepy vibes, and like, I think that night she was going home, and she thought there were like footsteps behind her. That was pretty spooky. How about you?
I'm gonna say Eli's story. The idea of not only seeing something, but being seen and known by this like fucked up thing, that's scary to me.
Yeah, love it. Your best dressed?
It's got to be the most handsome guy on the mountain.
Conrad.
Do you know who I saw him as? Did you watch that ridiculous Netflix original Eurovision?
Yes, I did.
Pierce Brosnan plays
Sure.
Will Ferrell's dad, and he's like super handsome and bearded.
Yeah.
That's what I pictured as Conrad the whole book.
That's perfect. I love that.
So it's got to be him.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's your alt?
Oh, you go first. I don't have one.
I wrote Father Christmas because I mean it is what it is.
I'm going to cop out. I'm going to call it Daddy Issues.
Boom, Daddy's tissues. Don't want to go in the garbage for those.
Yeah, because it's from his Conrad.
That's right. Who's the witch?
I mean, dead mom.
Yeah, I would say Jacqueline's parents, basically.
Literally is a witch.
Yeah.
By the definition of a witch, is a witch.
100%. We nailed it.
Yeah.
And who's our luscious liquor?
I think it's going to be Wolfsbane, the pupper.
You think it's a pupper? I think that's good, actually, yeah, because his little tongue is collecting snowflakes. I put the monster because the monster has like a big old purple tongue. It says a purple tongue flaps from its jagged toothed mouth. But totally legit. They both were described as having floppy tongues.
All right. That was a long episode fraught with internet issues and... for a while, we talked about the sexual preference of Abraham Lincoln.
Yep.
Then you went off on a tangent about Stevie Ray Vaughan and did some research while I played audio of a cursing snowman on YouTube.
Yeah. Yep. This is
how much of this will make it into the final cut?
This is going to be the new year, new editing is what I have to say. For the back half of 2020. Well, that's like the last 2 or 3 months I didn't do much editing at all. Now I'm going to make up for it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say none, Dave. None editing.
No, I mean I'll leave most of it, but there's going to be some post, as they say in the biz.
We'll take care of it in post. But that's the thing. When we said 2020's gone, new year, I mean, we still got the old struggles of 2020 because we're still in it. So we just want to remind you guys, wear a mask, stay home when you can, and just be good.
Be good to each other. Check in on your friends, see how they're doing. Remind them that it's nonstop nut 2021. I think that's what Carl called it.
Yeah. See what happens? People just have to jizz so bad, all the semen goes right to their brain, and they start storming the Capitol and shit.
I know.
It's fucking...
Here's what I would say. For 2021, send us some... rate and review us. 5 stars on iTunes. If you do that, we'll kill you on this little podcast of ours, and we'd really appreciate it. You don't have to give us 5 stars. You can give us less, but we won't.
But if you give us 1 star, at least don't be a fucking coward. Write a review.
Write a review
or fight me. Your choice.
That's right. Yep.
Also, I started another podcast, a little simple one. It's just an informative podcast about Pokemon.
That's right.
We're starting at Pokemon number 1 and working our way up weekly.
Dave,
with,
what's that called?
It's called Daycare Dittos.
Where could you find that?
All the places.
All the places where you find that. I've listened. It's amazing. It's great.
Thank you.
You know the boy. And you have some amazing co-hosts who I know and love. And, subscribe to that shit. Because why wouldn't you?
You get to learn the history of Pokemon. We start with just the franchise. There's a lot to learn. I was blown away by the facts.
It's instructive, and it's also just a conversation. So you don't have to know about Pokemon to listen to it. I certainly don't, and I still enjoy.
We start with the Bulbasaur family next, and we're going to go all the way down. For Matt, if you don't know, that Pokemon has a lot of seed collected on its lower back in the Pokedex. So
the Bulbasaur,
as you can say,
yeah.
Thank God that episode came out in 2021 because I
wouldn't have allowed it in 2020.
New Year, same me. We'll say that.
Doesn't it have like a Brussels sprout on its tail?
Pretty much, yeah. Its back is a sprout and it's full of seed.
Okay.
And I was just like, seed's only used for one thing when you think about it.
Yeah, for turning all your fellow classmates into creeps.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, go to school. or not, or virtually go to school, but make sure to share your seed.
Yeah, I don't fucking care what you do.
Yeah, fuck you.
Anyway, bye.
Bye.